Hi, everybody. It's been a while since we've read out of Shiloh, so I'm going to be reading to you out of Shiloh today again. We're in chapter 14, so we're just about done with the book. There's only two chapters left, 14 and 15. And in the last chapter, remember, Marty was walking over on Sunday morning to tell Judd there was no way he was getting his dog back and that he'd have to come and get him first. And he was very nervous about this, but he was set that he was not going to give Judd that dog back. On his way over, as he's walking through the woods towards Judd's house, he sees a deer grazing in a field. It means eating, just chewing on some grass. And he sees the deer and says, "How beautiful it is, and how can anybody ever kill that?" And crack! He hears the rifle shot and sees the deer jump, and then he hears another crack and sees the deer go down. And he knows someone's shot the deer. And he waits there for a second, kind of frozen at what had happened, and realizes that it was Judd. Judd was shooting deer out of season. So this might give Marty an opportunity to use this against Judd, or he was also afraid because now he's afraid to talk to Judd because now he knows Judd has the rifle out. And would he shoot him too? And just shoot him and then say, "Oh, it was an accident. I was out hunting and I didn't see him." So we'll have to see what happens here in chapter 14. Chapter 14. Judd's wearing this army camouflage shirt, a brown cap, and the weirdest grin that could fit on a human face. "Woo-wee!" he says, holding up his rifle with one hand as he plows through the weeds. "I got her! Woo-wee!" I know he wasn't out shooting rabbits and that he happened to get a doe instead because he doesn't have his hounds with him. Judd Travers had gone out that morning with the clear intention of getting himself a deer. I also know that if the game warden finds out about it, Judd's in big trouble because the deer he shot's out of season, wasn't even a buck. He slogs over through the waist-high weeds to where that doe lays. Bending over her, he looks at her, walks around her a little piece, then he says, "Woo-wee!" again, kind of soft-like. That's when I come out of the woods. He's got his back to me now and his hands on the doe's front legs, trying to see if he can pull her himself. Drags her a little ways and then stops. When he looks up again, I'm standing right beside him. He whirls around. "Where'd you come from?" he says. "Was on my way over to see you," I tell him, and for the first time standing next to Judd Travers, I feel taller than I really am. He looks at me a moment, like he don't know if he's glad I'm there or not. Then I guess he figures me being there only a kid don't matter. "Look what I got," he says. "Found her eating at my garden this morning. I chased her on over here." "That's a lie," I say. "I was back in the woods watching her eat. She was coming down from the hills the other way. You went out deer hunting for anything you could get." "Well, supposing I did," said Judd Travers, and he hates me worse than ever now. "Deer ain't in season, that's what," I answer. "There's a $200 fine for killing a doe." Judd Travers is staring at me like he's about to crack me across the mouth. We were raised around here. Children don't talk back to grown folks, don't hardly talk much at all. In fact, so they learn to listen. Keep your mouth shut. Let the grown folks do the talking. And here I am shooting off my mouth at 5:30 in the morning to a man holding a rifle. Am I crazy or what? "Not unless the game warden finds out." "There's not," Judd says. "And who's going to tell him? You?" All at once I realize I got Judd Travers right where I want him. One way you look at it, it's my duty to report a killed doe. The way folks up here look at it, though, that's snitching. And if I might, could tell but bargain not to. It's something else again. It's blackmail. But like I said, I got to the place that I'd do just about anything to save Shiloh. "Yeah?" I say, my heart pounding like crazy. "I'll tell. There's a free number to call." There is, too. It's on Dad's hunting regulation papers. Boy, I sure didn't know I was going to step into all this when I let come up here this morning. Now Judd's looking at me good, his eyes all narrowed. down to just little slits. Your pa put you up to this? No, this is me talking. Well, ain't you something now? And who's gonna believe you? I'll get the game warden up here, show him the spot where the doe was hit, the blood, and when he finds the deer at your place, he'll believe me. The words are coming out quicker than I can think almost. I'll tell him he's eating my garden. And I'll say different. The game warden won't make any allowance, even if it was eating your garden. You just don't shoot deer out of season. No way, especially a doe. Now Judd's really angry, and his words come up at me like bees. What you trying to do, boy? Start up trouble? You think I can't put you in your place mighty quick? So, what are you going to do? I ask. Shoot me? Travers is so surprised his jaw drops. But I'm cooking now. Nothing can stop me. Braver than I ever been in my life. Gonna shoot me like that dog I found up here 6 months back with a bullet in his head? Travers stares some more. I know whose bullet that was, Judd. And I told Dad, and if folks find me up here with a bullet in me too, Dad'll know exactly whose bullet it was. I can't hardly believe these words are coming out of my mouth. Been scared most of my life of Judd Travers, and here I am, half his size, talking like I'm a grown person. It's because I know Shiloh's still got a chance. So what are you waiting for? Judd says finally. Go get the game warden. And when I don't move, he says, come off it, Marty. Here, you take one of these legs, I'll take another. We'll drag it over to my place. I'll give you half the meat. And don't tell me your ma won't be glad to get it. I don't want the meat. I want Shiloh. Now Judd's really surprised and whistles through his teeth. Boy, you'd come up here just this morning to set me up, didn't you? Didn't have any idea in the world you was out here with your rifle, I tell him. And that's one of the first truths that I've told in 2 weeks. I come up here because it's Sunday, the day you said to bring your dog back. And I wanted you to know you got to fight me first to get him. Now I'm telling you I mean to keep him. And you expect to keep that deer without a fine, you'll make the trade. Whoa, says Travers. That's no kind of trade at all. If I hadn't got me this deer this morning, then what would you have bargained with then? I didn't have an answer to that because I hadn't been thinking about a deal. Judd had already said he wouldn't sell Shiloh. Judd's eyes narrow down even more till it almost looks like he's asleep. I just bet you would tell the game warden too, wouldn't you? In Jesus' name I would. And you're saying, if I let you keep my hunting dog, you're going to keep this deer a secret? I begin to see now that I'm no better than Judd Travers, willing to look the other way to get something that I want. But the something is Shiloh. Yes, I will, I tell him, not feeling that great about it at all. Well, you got to do more than that, boy, because I paid $35 for that dog, and I want $40 to let him go. For the first time, I see a thin ray of hope that maybe he'll let me buy Shiloh. I'll get you the money somehow, by and by, I promise. I don't want the money by and by, I want it now. And you haven't got it now. You work for me and pay it off. You make a deal with Judd Travers, and you're only 11 years old, you take what you can get. But all I'm thinking is, dog. You got a bargain, I tell Judd. And now my feet want to dance and my face wants to smile, but I don't dare let the delight show through. You listen here, says Judd. I'll pay you $2 an hour. That comes to 20 hours to earn $40. And the work ain't easy. I'll do it, I say. Beginning now, says Judd. And I can tell he's getting a bit edgy that someone else might come through the field wondering about those rifle shots and see how he got the doe. Help me get this deer over to my trailer. I'm so glad to be getting Shiloh I can hardly think straight, but I'm thinking straight enough as I help him drag that doe to Judd's house, to knowing that letting him get away with this, I'm putting other deer in danger. He kills this one out of season, he'll figure maybe he can kill some more. To save Shiloh, though, I'm making it harder for the deer. I swallow. All I got to do, though, is Think of the way he'd look at me. I ever had to give him back to Judd, and then I get on with my job. When we get to the trailer, at last, we carry the deer around the back of the three-sided shed that Judd's got in his backyard. First thing Judd does was bleed the doe, keep the meat from spoiling. Then he goes out and messes up the tracks with his foot, kicking up the grass wherever we'd matted it down, and covering the trail of blood with dust. I get home from work every day at 3, Judd says, and I want you here when I pull up. You work for me 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I want that wood back there stacked. I want the weeds cut and the grass mowed. I want my beans picked and the corn hoed. Whatever I think to be done, that's what you do. And I want you here starting tomorrow. I'll be here, I say, but I want it in writing that after I do 20 hours of work for you, Shiloh belongs to me. Travers grunts and goes back in the trailer. He comes out with a piece of grocery sack and the words, Beagle Hunting Dog to Marty Preston for 20 hours work, J. Travers. It occurs to me suddenly that maybe after I do the work, he'll try to pay me off with one of his other dogs. Write Shiloh, I tell him. He gives me a pained look, crosses out Beagle and writes Shiloh in its place. But don't spell it right, leaves off the H at the end. I take the paper and I put it in my pocket. I'll be here tomorrow, I say. You ever tell anyone about this dear boy, you're going to be more than sorry you opened your lips. You got my word, I say, which considering all the lying I'd been doing lately didn't seem like it amounted to much. It did, though. I walked away from Judd's trailer in sort of a zigzagging line, half expecting a bullet in my back at any moment. Even though I'm pretty sure he wouldn't. Soon as I'm out of sight, though, I race through the woods, heart going thumpity-thump. Can't keep the smile back no longer. Shiloh's mine. The words keep coming back again and again. He's safe. Should feel even more joyful, though. Thought once I could just get Shiloh for my own, it would be the finest day of my life. In a way it was. In a way it isn't. Could be Judd gave in because he couldn't think of nothing else at the moment to do. Said I could have Shiloh because he needed some help with that deer. Could be that once he got rid of the evidence, he'd tell me to go ahead and get the warden, that I wasn't to have the dog. Could even say that he never wrote that on the grocery sack, that I'd wrote it myself. I don't think so, though. What worries me most is that Judd could go through with the bargain, give Shiloh to me, and then someday when Shiloh's running free in the woods but by himself, Judd might just put a bullet in his head, just to spite me. So he thinks all these things are going through Marty's head. Do you think Judd is really going to let him go through with the deal? Is he really going to give him Shiloh for working for him? Or is he going to go back on the deal and try and get the dog back and go against the deal that he just made with Marty after the work is done? You have to think about that. That'll be your good response question for today.